Well, I'd like to go on in Genesis, reading the Hebrew, but I have a couple of little things that I want to bring out. Unfortunately, militant atheists who use these scare tactics. They use Saul Alinsky type tactics to cut people down. Immediately they start telling you you're not intelligent, you should be educated. This is another way of saying you're stupid. Uh, they pontificate. They act like they're more superior than you are, okay, above you. These are all tactics that they pull. They gang up on you. Um, they'll never give up arguing with you. They're really hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with. But I'd like to tell them to look at themselves and realize that they stink in front of everybody. You know, um, you are looking for finding the utopian society on Earth. You're going to leave this Earth. You're not going to be here forever, although unless you figure out a way to live forever, maybe that's what you want to do. Find eternal life on Earth and make Earth a better place by getting rid of religion. And the strange thing is that do you really think that you can reach utopia by getting rid of religion? No, I don't like religion. I really don't. I believe in grace in Jesus Christ, but I don't believe in religion. Religion can be terrible, but atheism is the worst religion I ever heard of. And yes, it is like a religion. And it is like a religion. And what does it do? It's intolerant. And so if you can get rid of all of Christianity on the face of the earth and just wipe us all out, which is a sick act. And by the way, if you look at the history of communism, and it is atheism and communism go hand in hand, okay? And you know this by history. That's what communism tried to do. And ultimately, whether you'll argue with it or not, it was Darwin that inspired Hitler. You will try to blame Martin Luther for the Holocaust, but Martin Luther might have been mad at Jews, but Hitler used it to genetically get rid of people, to bring about the utopian Aryan race on this earth. Okay? So what will happen when these arrogant, big-headed people, because I've seen your arrogance, get rid of all the Christians? You think that you won't fight among yourselves? You think you'll have communism and share? I can tell you that the greed of man will always try to make itself better than that. It will, the human race will purge itself out even further. And the survival of the fittest, which is what you believe in, will make you murderers and intolerant of other people. In the whole scheme of things, you'll kill yourselves off. So it's a dream. And look at what Darwinism has done to you. And this comes from the philosophy of Hegel. The perfect utopian society cannot exist with Christians or without them, or with religion or without it. Because you see, you're not a good person inside. Oh, I'm fine, or there's no reason God should judge me. Look at your own arrogance and look at the arrogance of your friend. Once all of religion is gone, you'll be fighting among yourselves for power. Because that's what it is. It's about power. And so you think that we're going to become a super species. But look at the depraved state that you're in. What kind of world will it really be? And what is it becoming? If you really think about it, marking people and controlling people under an oppressive communist type regime, okay? Putting more and more strict laws on people, trying to make the perfect society, putting people are just making a society that's a cage. There's no freedom. It's a hollow world. It has no love. Because you've taken humanity out of humanness. You could say you're a humanist, okay, but your idea is that man is no different than an animal. So worse than an animal, you treat us like cattle or chickens on an assembly line to be slaughtered. And yet PETA sits here, love the animals, and yet we have another. This is why it's all set against itself. Love the animals. There's no love in atheism. or at least in not this militant. I could see confused, I don't believe in a God, but this type of atheism, the atheism that's intolerant of everybody else, this is sickness, my friend. That's why you're bitter inside. That's why you really need God. But maybe you had a bad experience with religion, because I don't really believe that it might not be truly atheism, except for maybe it's more of a hatred towards God. And so it's destroying the world. And this is what's going to happen. This was prophesied. The Bible even said it would happen. The Bible called it that the atheism would be set against not Christianity as a religion, set against God. Because Christianity is going to be judged too, my friend. They're not perfect. Religion has done some pretty bad things. Okay? But worse than that, the Christians, the Christian church or Christian churches that don't know God are going to be standing right next to the atheists, both of them together, and they'll be judged. And you think, oh well, it's not going to happen. It is going to happen. But worse than that, the world that you're making is not a utopia. If you look at these third world countries that, by the way, the government takes over, and you say, well, we got rid of all those bad capitalists. Yeah, but look at where the capitalists went. To your government. The same capitalist businesses that were oppressing you now has become your government. This is why small business works, because everybody has a chance to have a small business. But you see, it is all about man exalting himself. And the Bible called it so well. This is why I know it's true, because it talked about you. It knows you. Although you might say it doesn't exist, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. You might ignore it, but the truth is God is. And he called it. He knew exactly what you would become. And do you really like who you are? Do you think that you're becoming a better race? Really? I don't think so. I think maybe you should re-examine who you are, because who you are is not lovely. And it's not very intelligent either. To believe, because Darwin was a racist who believed that he was better than other people, and this is where this idea came from, measuring people's head size and putting people in classes. These classes were based on bias. These classes put darker people closer to the monkey, making them lower on the evolutionary chain. This was still man exalting himself. This is why when you pushed evolution, you tried to push the science politically. This is why Piltdown Man came and all these frauds came, because it wasn't about evolution being wrong or right. It was about making it wrong or right to fit your agenda. See, that's why you fight to have. It's not an objective idea. And these tactics that you use, militant tactics, so if you get your way, I hope you're happy with it, because you're living a lie. If you can live in a lie, that's fine, but I don't really think that you can live with yourself. Matter of fact, I think you're miserable. I think that you're miserable with yourself and miserable with other people. And this is what the Nazis were, and this is what Hitler was. That's why he committed suicide. Couldn't get his way. And the funny thing is that the God that you hate is able to heal your heart and love you. The true God. Not that you about being religious or good enough before God, but the God that died for you and loves you. This is hatred. This is fear. This is fear tactics, and fear is terror. Terror is terrorism. So, this is what Stalin did. He practiced terrorism. And this is what your atheists are doing when you use Saul Alinsky tactics. You're terrorizing people. It's not about debate. It's about winning. And you'll win any way you possibly can. But it's a hollow victory. And in the end, you'll face God. And the funny thing is that you're trying to make a utopia on earth. You realize that the time is short. Your life will end. And when it does, you'll think, well, God will throw me into eternal fire. Well, I'm not going to get into God eternal fire, because it may well be that you might be just dropped into the fire. But it's a funny thing. You can be given eternal life, but you reject it. But not only do you reject it, you won't let other people who believe in it have it. You're intolerant. And that's the shame of it all. God bless.